Liebelt. How are you? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome in. OMG, it just turned 11:03. Oh, that rhymed. I'm getting ready to go out of town. That's what's happening this morning. So I apologize. I'm behind. Oh my gosh. I looked at the time and I'm like, what am I even doing? What am I even doing? Okay, so if you don't know, every day from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we go live and we talk about insulin resistance. And today I actually want to do a little bit of 101. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because it's what ticks me off the most. So if you want to see what ticks me off the most, hang around. If you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. I would love to know. Welcome in. So I was raised by an Italian dad who was type 2, insulin dependent, like 2 shots in his belly every single day at the end there, right? Well, for a long time. But he did all of it. He did it all. He went all in on his type 2. And he had emergency heart surgeries and angioplasties and pacemaker. And at the end, he had a couple of years of dialysis where he would have dialysis on Monday, and then that night he would puke. And then on Tuesday, he would feel okay. And then on Wednesday, he would have dialysis and he would puke. And then on Thursday, he'd feel okay. And then on Friday, you get the picture. And he was only 63 when he died. And we had come home we were living in South Dakota, the Black Hills, with my 3 babies, my husband and 3 babies. And otherwise, I was raised in Minnesota my entire life. So only for 8 years, I have not lived in Minnesota. Otherwise, I've been here all the time. And we came home to visit because we kind of knew his health wasn't super amazing. And I'm telling you the story because it dawns on me that I didn't tell you guys, I didn't mention it on Monday, that it was literally the 30th year since he had died, July 14th, 1995. That's when he died. And so I've been just like, you reminisce in your brain, right? So we came home to see how he was doing, whatever. We took the babies. My youngest was only 6 months old. And I literally will remember it like, obviously, it was yesterday, even though it wasn't 30 years ago. On Thursday morning, Wednesday night, he was puking from his dialysis. Thursday morning, I went to Kohl's. And so I was 30 years old. I'm 60 now. And good morning, Magda. Good to see you. And I bought this super darling little one-piece jumper, and it had polka dots on it. And it was navy blue. And it was cute. I was 30, what's not to, I actually had lost weight. When I show you guys in my group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, and I show you on my PowerPoint, we do that challenge every month. And I talk about how I had my babies and I was gestational with my first baby, gained 60 pounds, hypoglycemic with my second baby. It wasn't until I had my third baby that I finally figured out how to take care of myself better during a pregnancy. So I had him in January. Here it is 6 months later. So he's just a little baby. We go to visit my dad. I'm actually, for the first time in my adult life, other than a very unhealthy moment after I was a senior in high school, don't ask. I actually looked good. My weight was good. So when my dad died that week for the funeral, I actually had a really good body size, etc. I felt good. But he's 6 months old, and I come home and I'm wearing this cute little jumper I got from Kohl's. My dad is sitting at the table, and he was the son of an Italian immigrant. And so he always wanted me to get a deal on everything. This is a little in my blood. So because he always owned Italian restaurants, and then he owned furniture stores in Minneapolis. And so I said, hey, Dad, look what I got at Kohl's. And he's like, oh, that's really cute. Did you get a deal? I said, yeah, I did actually. It was on sale. And he goes, well, did you get 2? That was my dad. That's my dad in a nutshell. Anyway, and I said, no, I only got 1 and blah, 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 whatever. And the next morning, he died. He just died. His heart was done. He went to go have dialysis on Friday at the hospital, not being an inpatient. He just went to, I have an itch, sorry. He went to dialysis, went to the cafeteria, signed a check for his lunch, and sat in the chair, and he was gone. That was it. Of course, they saw him. They tried to revive him. That was a no-go. His heart was not strong at that point. He had gone through everything. So this is the impetus Welcome to my world. Come on in. We're not going to be all so sad anymore now. That was just the story. But I want you to understand from this very, very incredibly authentic place comes this passion to be like, I cannot freaking believe that we still don't have this information in front of us every day. It just absolutely fires me up because everybody walks around with undiagnosed issues, waiting. They're just waiting to put you on meds. They just cannot wait to put you on meds. And then everything is like super confusing. So you never have clarity and you feel like it's so noisy that you'll just do anything that they tell you to do. So this is just me being your girlfriend. Grab a cup of coffee. Here we go. We're going to chat this morning about how insulin resistance is literally quietly hijacking your health. Okay. And before your labs are ever even showing a problem. Probably the number one conversation I have in my inbox on a very regular basis, because nobody has told you yet. And I'm going to tell you right now. So here you go. Now you can't say nobody ever told you. You can be insulin resistant for years and even decades before it ever shows up in your blood glucose. But your doctor is going to wait for it to show up in your blood glucose. They are not going to most likely pull a fasting insulin test so that they can tell you that that hormone is high. Okay, so let's get into it. Good morning, Lisa. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Kind of a cloudy day out here in Minnesota, isn't it, Lisa? Cloudy and rainy. I actually did not go for my walk this morning. I know, right? I didn't because now I'm getting ready to go out of town. I won't be here on Friday. FYI, just so that you guys know, I'm going to go to Louisville, Kentucky for a business conference. And I can't wait. I'm just like very, very, I got to get ready. Anyway. Okay, so here you go. I'm going to tell you about Sally, okay? Sally may or may not be real, okay? But this is Sally. So she's 52. She's still working full time. She's got grandkids on the weekends, and she's been feeling off for a while. You may feel like Sally. She has not gained a ton of weight. However, maybe a few pounds each year. But now her clothes fit weird, and her energy tanks by 2 p.m. She feels puffy and foggy and frustrated. She just had her labs done. Her doctor said, Sally, everything looks normal. Just try to lose a few pounds and get more sleep. Eat less, move more, Sally. What's wrong with you? And she's thinking, I am trying, but something is not right. It's not right. She's not lazy. She's not crazy. She's just stuck in the silent years of insulin resistance, and no one's told her that yet. I lived here for freaking ever. How do I know that I lived there? Because I was gestational diabetic with my first baby. That would be year one of actually being told that I was in the silent years of insulin resistance. But I never heard the term. I didn't know anything. Like over my head, like I knew nothing. So I continued to live for another 30 years, like just eating whatever I wanted to, like just being not really assessing my body very well, all of those pieces, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to get into that today. So it wasn't until my upper 40s that so about 25 years later, I actually finally started to do something about it, right? But that's a different piece of the puzzle. So, however, where it starts and no one notices, okay? Do you guys kind of want to hear a little bit of a flow as to how this goes? Anna, good to see you. Meg, good morning. Hope everybody's got something good to drink this morning. I have my aminos. I'm drinking my aminos. All right. So what's happening is your blood sugar is rising after your meals, okay? Your pancreas releases insulin to shuttle your sugar into cells. This is normal. So your blood sugar rises, you eat and your blood sugar rises, your pancreas releases insulin so that it can go get the sugar and bring it into your cell. That's a normal conversation inside of your body all day, every day, okay? But over time, your cells They stop listening. La, 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 la. They stop listening to insulin. I can't hear you. I don't want to be doing this anymore. And so they close the door. Now you are resistant. Insulin resistant. Okay. So the body makes more insulin to compromise. I must not be making enough. I must need to be making more. Pancreas is like, I got to double down. I got to do more duty, right? Insulin levels are high, but your labs look normal. So your insulin over here, your hormone is like, whoo, because it's like working it. Oh man, I got to make more. Okay, got it? This is why you have high insulin and your cell is now resistant. All right. Then what's happening is you go to the doctor and they're like, Sally, your labs look good. Just work on just work on lose a few pounds and get better sleep. See you later. Bye-bye. And this is us in the middle of our perimenopause years. And we're like, what is happening? I actually am trying. And nothing is budging. And we are frustrated. And this can last then forever, right? Until we fix it. You could be like some of my customers that are 71 years old, 75 years old. And now you're finally losing 40 pounds because now it's clicking with you. You're hearing what I'm saying. And then you're taking the action, right? So fasting insulin is not tested. So no red flags show up. I was talking to somebody in my DMs last night. And she is a cancer survivor. And I thought, oh, just maybe one of her tests. Maybe they pulled a fasting insulin. Because, otherwise they're not going to do it. Like if you're just a normal person, they're not going to just give you tests that you don't need, right? They're not going to do that. Nope. She didn't have any knowledge of a fasting insulin. And I was like, I was hoping, because obviously she went deeper into her medical experience because of her cancer. Really frustrating. So what happens is no red flags are showing up because they're not even testing your insulin. And insulin is your hormone. And when it's high, you cannot burn fat. You can't. And when your liver is tired and toxic, you cannot burn fat. So this is why I address both of them with food and supplements. Both. So what happens is your weight begins to creep up, especially around your belly. And you're like, I never had a belly before. Hello? Or why can I lose weight in my legs, but not my belly? Why can my arms get skinny and my legs can get skinny? And I can lose the fat on the inside of my knees, but my belly, hello, what's going on? Why can't I do this? Now my jeans don't fit and I go shopping and I have to find a completely different brand to fit me, a different style, because it's not fitting the same as it used to fit because that old belly is in the way. You feel tired, but you're kind of wired at the same time. You're craving carbs, you're waking up puffy, and you crash hard in the afternoon, or at least you want to. You might be at work, so you might not be able to crawl under the desk. Sorry, probably just made noise. Just saying, you might be like, if I could just take a nap in the bathroom stall, if I could just lean my head against the stall and take a little nap, I would feel so much better. You have brain fog. Anxiety is creeping in. And maybe that's a very vulnerable place to be like, why do I have anxiety? Where is this coming from? And that can feel very unnerving. Poor sleep. You're bloated. That bloat. But no one connects the dots. So how you doing? My name is Kirsten Liebelt, and I want to help you connect your dots. This is my mission in life. Let's connect your dots. But then what actually ends up happening is over time, your A1C rises, but often it's quite late in the game. So finally it's showing up on a lab that they will actually check. Your triglycerides go up. So A1C, triglycerides, your HDL good cholesterol drops. Your ALT, AST might rise, so early signs of fatty liver. Your blood pressure climbs slowly. And eventually, Sally, you are pre-diabetic. We don't know how that happened, but you're pre-diabetic. Like, this is so ridiculous. I can't even handle this lack of proper anything in our medical system. This is ridiculous. And it's not just the United States, it's all over the world, but it's ridiculous nonetheless. And so what's happening is if you have eyes to see and ears to hear right now, you will see how the trunk of the tree is insulin resistance. Did you hear how your triglycerides go up, your fatty liver shows up, your blood pressure goes up, and then you become pre-type 2? Do you understand how this is all connected? These are not individual diagnoses separate of each other. What is the trunk of the tree? Say it to yourself. Say it out loud. Insulin resistance. So if we would just freaking deal with an insulin resistant thought process, we could jump over tall buildings with one single bound. This is what we could do. Like we can solve all of the world's problems. I'm just being dramatic, obviously, but that's how it makes you feel. It's like, oh, we need one door. We just need to talk about one door. Huh. Okay. I think I could maybe think about one door, one path, one lens, one thought process. So that when I go buy food and put it in my mouth, I have one thought process. When I go and I buy supplementation, I have one thought process. One, not 50. Not 50 different influencers telling you a bunch of like whatever BS because they're 30 and they are not insulin resistant or I mean, honestly, it's like you can have so much noise or maybe you're listening to the marketing of the companies that want you to hear certain things. Yesterday, I posted in my stories, this is shocking. I had to go to her Instagram site and actually make sure that it was true. I'm trying to remember how many people she has on her Instagram. A lot. I think it's a couple 100,000. It might be 300,000. And she a nurse? She might be a nurse being paid by the soy industry to tell you that seed oils are good. And literally in the first article that she has posted in her bio link, it is from the soy industry. I'm not even making this up. It's an article from them. And it's her first link so that you see it right away. Make no mistake, right? Like she's getting paid for this positioning. And it's telling you why actually soybean oil is really good for you. And you've just been lied to. Okay? So I just hope you understand what's going on in our world, the fight for actual health in our nation. If what they've told us all of these years was amazing, miraculous, and beautiful and gorgeous, we would not be 40 years down the road and fatter than we've ever been, sicker than we've ever been, and more medicated than we've ever been. We wouldn't be where we are. I mean, I can say insulin resistant and turn around and like, I think maybe 1 out of 100 in the grocery store would not be insulin resistant. That's what it feels like. It's probably not true. That's not a true stat. Don't take my word for that. That's how that feels. Fatty liver. Let's see, 7 out of 10 people that I walk past probably have fatty liver. Like this is so obnoxious. It's time we do something. So sometimes you're like, maybe you're Googling, why am I gaining weight, but I'm eating healthy? Why is this happening to me? Why do I crave sugar after lunch? These are really practical understandings of what's happening in your body. Why do I wake up at 3 a.m. every single night? Why am I so tired, but my labs are normal? Sally, your labs are normal. How do I lose belly fat after 45? Everybody wants that answer. Everybody wants that answer. So basically, the two different things that I teach have to do with turning back your insulin resistance. So when I entered my 50s, I was a 2X in size. I always show that picture on TikTok. I was a 2X in size. And this is right at the age that my mother, because my dad died now, right? I was 30. My dad is gone. Now I'm in my upper 40s. So I'm like almost 20 years after he's gone. My weight is going up and up and up, just like we talked about. And my mother is like, hello. I could probably sound like her if I wanted to. Hello. Do you even know where your sugars are at, Kirsten? Are you paying any attention? No, she's not saying to me, I think you're insulin resistant, honey. And did you know that if your insulin is high, you can't lose fat? She's not saying, hey, no. This is like how much are you peeing? Do you drink water all the time? Are you thirsty all the time? Did you just drink that water because you're thirsty? Or do you have dry mouth? Because this was my dad's life. So thank God it scared the crap out of me. And I started to pay attention to the sores on my legs or the sores on my arms. Are they healing? Are they not healing? Because this was all very real to me. I was not confused about the detriments of type 2. I watched it. It literally was my whole life. From the minute I was born, my dad was declining with type 2 because he was diagnosed at 35 and that's when I was born. Okay. And then he was gone at 63. So I'm just telling you, I started to pay attention according to the way that my father had lived, but you may not actually have that luxury. So until somebody comes into your path and disrupts your path and says, these are the things to pay attention to, you don't even know, because the medical community is very irresponsible in letting you know anything about being insulin resistant years and decades before it ever shows up in your blood. They're very irresponsible. And every now and then, one of you will text me and you will give me back hope in humanity, faith in humanity. And you'll tell me, the most recent one was one of you said, my neurologist told me that I needed to go keto. My neurologist told me, maybe it was either keto or carnivore. And I was like, wow, there's a good person out there actually trying to help people. Somebody who probably studied outside of what they learned in medical school, because that's not what they're being taught in medical school, right? So if I do not disrupt your stream of thought of your normal, what you're hearing from the world, you may never hear any of this. And so that's when I started to pay attention to everything. And when I started to trade out my foods, I actually didn't. I didn't right away. I do the opposite of what a lot of you do. Well, it's not true. I don't have statistics on how you guys are doing it necessarily, but I have both of you doing it both different way. I have both sides of the formula. So I started with supplements. Some of you are starting with food, and then you add in the supplements. You can do it either way. I just was in denial. I was like the river of Egypt, big time. And I thought, if I just didn't tell anybody what I was thinking inside of my head, if I never went to the doctor and had them actually take a test on me to diagnose me with anything, then nobody would ever need to be the wiser. So I'm just going to start taking supplementation so I can tell my mom to leave me alone, because she was super annoying. Now, praise God, she was super annoying, but she was really annoying. And she always had it with that one look. There was that look. Like, it's just so disappointing to watch your weight. It's so disappointing to know you're not taking care of yourself. I mean, that was my life. Here I am, almost 50 years old. But you know what? I now look back at that and I am so grateful, because I was headed like a freight train. Freight train. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for double tapping the screen on TikTok. It's just like currency over there. Thank you. Patty, good morning, sweet lady. Right back at you. And so that process for me was like, I had no idea how I was going to change out my food. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, my love language is going to a movie and getting buttered popcorn and eating Milk Duds at the exact same time, or going to Trader Joe's and getting their salt and pepper kettle chips. And I mean, I'm not going to change out my food. Don't be ridiculous. I'm Italian. So that's what I did. I started with this. I started with these 3 supplements. And you know what? I really didn't know what I was doing. I'm going to be honest. Like, I didn't understand the intricacies of what it was helping my body to do. But now I've studied and I understand. So these are all 3 supplements. I have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And you can go to my site if you want to just look for yourself. KirstenLiebelt.com. You can go look for yourself. And there's a section that says, I think it says how I lost 3 sizes in my 50s or something like that. You'll see it. So the trio is what I'm talking about. There's even a video. If you're a video person, you want to see me talk for 2 minutes on it. But my point being is that when I understood that I could literally take down my insulin and my sugars and help my liver and my metabolism, like I didn't know why it was working, but it was working. And immediately what happened to me was the food noise began to quiet down. Does that sound familiar with something that maybe we're taking a prescription for? I'm just asking. I'm not making claims. I'm just asking a question. My food noise simmered down and my cravings began to like subside. And I felt like then for me that I was able to then finally have a clear enough head to make decisions to make a grocery list, look up a recipe. I started studying like got my Maria Emmerich books behind me, my cookbooks. You can see them on each. I started to pay attention like, okay, this can't possibly be true. This can't possibly be true. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. And, like my dad was on all these drugs and, why did he have a lazy Susan full of meds and it didn't do anything for him and la, 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 la. And I went through that whole thing. I started to study. And since then now I've added in other layers. And now when you guys access and like implement, execute what I talked to you about, the ingredient trade outs in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women, and the supplementation, you guys just crushed my results. I was kind of on a journey all by myself. I was like on, kind of like, in my own little corner, in my own little room. That was me, like just in my head, me and Jesus working this out, walking through my changing of foods and all this stuff. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do what I did. I can help you accelerate your results. Like I just get so freaking excited about the testimonies and the testimonies and the testimonies. I need to get more up on my site. But then I added in the gut protocol, the primer, and the probiotic. This has changed the game for so many people because if you do not help your liver, you can't burn fat. And so many of you are living without a gallbladder. So many of you are living with leaky gut because of insulin resistance. Do you understand? Like even my daughter with her second pregnancy, she's had 3 babies in 4 years. They're all 18 months apart. Her second pregnancy, she ends up with gallstones. We research gallstones. She wants to avoid surgery, obviously. She immediately goes keto. She immediately starts to supplement exactly what I'm talking to you about. Completely avoids within like 2 weeks. Everything stops. Everything halts. She avoids surgery, does all the things, has a memory of her first pregnancy and goes, OMG. After my first baby was having gallstones and I didn't know it. That's what all that back pain was and blah, 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 whatever. Now, with her third one, she knew how to completely avoid everything. And I'm telling you, it's all freaking connected. These are not separate issues. We do not have to have silo mentality. The medical community is silo mentality, but we don't have to have that. All of her research showed her, she immediately started with basically the trio. She immediately started with, trying to remember, she probably added in a digestive enzyme that we have in the line. What else did she start with? I'd have to ask her, but I think that was probably the whatever. And then she changed her food right away. But what she found out was that high estrogen, hormone, high insulin, hormone, high cortisol, hormone, all is the cause of gallstones, gallbladder issues. And here we are having our gallbladders removed like it's a normal everyday process. And you didn't need that part anyway, but now your liver is like, excuse me, I'm taking the burden over here. I'm taking it for the team. And we have to now detail the inside of our engine. So trio, gut reset protocol, okay? And then the orange pixie stick. And this targets your visceral fat. Okay. And that's the total body reset. I actually have like a 5-minute video on my site if you want to see that. Me just chatting about that. Some of you are those people. You like information. You want explanations and stuff. Not everybody does. But this is where you guys end up crushing my results. And so these are just products that I have sourced over the years to put together to create this. And then I take you inside the group. If you want to walk journey with somebody, I'll take you inside the group. It's a Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And every month we'll do a 5-day challenge and I will help you to understand how to trade out your food ingredients and how to make your pantry not look like the standard American diet. And still be a foodie while you're doing it? Don't you want to still be a foodie? Don't you want to still love the food that you're eating? And aren't you glad that I'm not telling you that there's 50 steps? Does your brain even have, with the brain fog that's being caused from the insulin resistance, do you have capacity to take on 50 steps? Ain't nobody doing that. Nobody's doing that, but I teach 2 things. 2, does your brain have capacity for 2? We're going to trade out your food ingredients and get your supplements targeted. So you can just stop buying willy-nilly supplements here and there. I always say it like, you have a little sample at Costco, or your friend bought this on Amazon, or you see this at the drugstore, or, whatever. Like, stop it. And don't get me wrong. I'm so grateful for everybody who talks to me and says that they are trying something, because that tells me something about you. But I'm just going to be really honest with you. If you're just taking cinnamon, that ain't cutting it. So anybody that's trying to sell you a little bit of cinnamon in a capsule, stop it. Don't get me wrong. Does it maybe help? Sure. Like, I don't know to what degree. Like, have they ever actually studied? I don't know. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about giving your body the actual raw materials that it needs. The rawest of material from organic farms, because we don't need glyphosate messing this up, in order to get your body functioning again. It's like changing out your oil, changing out your filter, tightening up all the nuts and the bolts, and getting your gut healed and sealed so that you can actually absorb your nutrients and stop leaking all of your nutrients into your system. Like, it's just a round and round and round she goes, and then nothing ever gets better. You don't lose a pound, your belly stays for good, and you are so frustrated. So you have to decide how motivated you are to deal with the belly bloat, deal with the high insulin in your body, the exhaustion, the waking up at 3 a.m., the Googling of how to get rid of belly fat, all of the frustration, and you feel like you're eating clean and you're just hitting your head against a brick wall just over and over and over again. Oh my gosh, I've already given up this. I've already given up this. I've already given up this. Like, what the heck? I've already added in this for exercise. I've already, like, what more can I possibly do? And I'm like, you know what? I think you just have the wrong pair of glasses on. I think your glasses are just wrong. You put on the wrong glasses. You put on the glasses of, maybe it's Weight Watchers. Maybe you put on the glasses of, a program that has you eating processed food all day, every day. Maybe you put on the glasses of calorie deficit only. Pause due to poor connection on my Instagram. Sorry, peeps. You put on the glasses of somebody that's marketed something to you, like trying to tell you that, like the soy industry paying influencers to say that seed oils are good. We have to stop this insanity. But that does tell me they're obviously suffering. Oil was never meant to come from a crop. How about olive, coconut, avocado? Okay. All right. So every day we do this at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can always reach out to me. You can put reset in the comments. I'd be more than happy to get you information on the total body reset or any one of those 3 pillars. That's 3 pillars. The trio is pillar number 1. The gut reset is pillar number 2. This is the primer and a probiotic. You need to reintroduce good bacteria into your gut. This has stay alive technology and stick to the gut technology. Don't be messing around thinking like just a little bit of yogurt is good enough. It's not. And I'm just going to be as real as I can with you. It's not. And that's just because of the way that we have treated our bodies. So this is pillar number 2, and pillar number 3 is the fat burner. And this tastes like candy. So I opened mine this morning and I never even took it. Tastes like candy, orange candy. It's no artificial anything. Tastes like an orange pixie stick, but it targets your visceral fat. And if you do not understand the connection between insulin resistance and visceral fat, today's a good day to start to understand that, because it's the dangerous fat. It's the fat that's underneath, that's like growing and making your belly big, and you're frustrated. That's why when you do this like every day for 90 days on your tongue, it literally is just like candy. It's a clinical dose of an extract. But when you do that for 90 days, measure first, because you're going to lose inches from the inside out. From the inside out. under your bra, your waist, and your hips. And then take 30 days off because it's a thermogenic, okay? So if you need information on that, let me know. If you are a customer already and you're already doing this, don't forget, every month that you do 150 or more on that third month, every third month, like clockwork, you're going to get $75 off. So don't miss out on that. Make sure you're a registered customer if you're brand new, and don't miss out on stuff, and always ask me, because I'd be more than happy to make sure that you get the most bang for your buck on everything you do. The best shipping, the best customer campaign. I want you to get all of it. Okay. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time again. And then Friday I'm off. So I'm going to take my orange pixie stick and, because I forgot. So there we go. All right. Have a good day. Have the best day on the face of the planet. See you later.